Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the #1 Vikings fan extraordinaire, Adam Boyer. Today we are going to be discussing whether or not the Washington football team should trade for Aaron Rodgers ahead of the 2022 season in this year's off season. Before we get started, let me remind you please to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy. It really helps out a lot. Now without further ado, let's dive in. So first, the logical place to start is to look at, does Aaron Rodgers want to be traded? So he said in the press conference following their upset loss to the 49ers that he basically didn't want to talk about it right now. You know, it's understandable. He has to have time to think about it. He did say, though, that he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild, and it seems like maybe that's the direction the Packers might be heading, especially if they do end up losing Rodgers. So it seems like he might be open to the idea of a trade, but he also left open the idea of retirement, and so, you know, he might retire, he might get traded, and there's a possibility he stays on the Packers for one more year. But this did seem like the last dance for Green Bay, bringing in Randall Cobb, re-signing the guys they needed to. It seemed like this was going to be their last shot. And, of course, we do need to look at Rodgers' contract. He is under contract for one more year in Green Bay through the 2022 season, due to earn about $27 million. Look at Washington's cap situation. Only 9 teams have more to cap than Washington heading into the offseason. They have $4 million in free cap space. Now that sounds like, oh wait, you know, he has $27 million, or he's owed $27 million, and, you know, they only have $4 million. How's that going to work? Well, they can try to restructure something, or like restructure his contract, and he might end up playing for less money. Who knows? Probably not. But they could try to restructure his contract, and they can free up cap space. As far as possible trade scenarios go, Washington is going to have to give up pretty much an arm and a leg for this guy, understandably. He's likely going to be the MVP for 2 years in a row, and if the Packers weren't in such a unique situation, there's almost no scenario where a guy of his caliber is ever going to get traded, even at his age. So I have a couple of possible trade scenarios here. Obviously, the Packers would trade Rodgers, and for those of you who are thinking maybe the Packers, if we gave them enough, would pay off some of Rodgers' contract. Yeah, that's not going to happen. The Packers have the second worst cap situation heading into the offseason, I believe. I think it's about $44 million over the cap. And so they're in a very bad spot. They're more than likely not going to be able to pay any of Rodgers' contract. So they just give us Rodgers, and then we would give them the number 11 pick, which is our first-round pick for this year, a 2023 first-rounder, a 2024 first-rounder, so that's 3 first-round picks, and then one more pick in this year's draft, probably a second or third-rounder. And, you know, that seems like a ton. Or, like, are we ever going to pick in the first round again? Are we going to be like the Rams? That's a possibility. But think about Washington's roster right now. Their offense, especially if they improve the offensive line just a little bit, if they can stay healthy, they can have a decent running game. They've got weapons in the form of Logan Thomas and Terry McLaurin. You know, they have guys like Curtis Samuel, who is injured all year. He could play well. Adam Humphries played well. Cam Sims, I feel like if he would have had more playing time, he maybe could have continued his breakout year. So is Washington's offense loaded with weapons? No, but maybe they can address that in the draft or through free agency or another trade. You know, also John Bates played well, and Dax Milne played well. Maybe he'll develop in his second year. Both of those guys are rookies. So you have that scenario. Or Packers give Rodgers. Again, that's really the only thing I can see happening. I don't think Packers will be doing anything else. They give us Rodgers. We give them the number 11 pick, the 2023 first-rounder, this year's second-rounder, but instead of the 2024 first-rounder, we give them Daron Payne. There's been a lot of trade talk surrounding Daron Payne and if Washington's going to keep him or if they're going to move on from him in the regular or in this offseason and for next season. It does seem like he's an expendable guy. You know, it would free up some cap with him being gone. And so I really like him, but with Matt Ioannidis, Jonathan Allen, even guys like James Smith-Williams and Casey Toohill playing well, we'll have Montez Sweat and Chase Young back. I think Daron Payne is expendable, and the Packers do need help on that defensive line. In the interior especially, other than Kenny Clark, they really don't have anyone, so that would make sense as well. Washington can maybe give away less picks and instead give the Packers Daron Payne. So yeah, that's the scenarios going over Rodgers trade. And then of course you have guys they could trade for: Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. If they do not trade for one of those guys, and there's a lot of talk about them getting Mitch Trubisky, please don't. And Baker Mayfield, please don't. Washington, if you're watching this, Ron Rivera or Jason Wright, any of y'all, if you're watching this, don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Baker Mayfield or Mitch Trubisky, that's not going to happen. Only free agent guy that I would like to see them pick up if they can't trade for one of these guys, or if they get a guy in the draft, would be Marcus Mariota. I think that'd be worth a shot. However, I really would like them to be able to trade for Rodgers, and then just a couple days from now, I'll be releasing separate videos about should they trade for Russell Wilson, should they trade for Deshaun Watson, and we will be breaking down that as well. But for now, that is it. Thank you everyone for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. There should be a button appearing here, maybe in the middle of the screen, somewhere on the screen. And there should be one, maybe two videos appearing as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share and like if you enjoyed. Drop a comment telling me what you think Washington should do in their quarterback situation next year. I'm the Vikings fan, and I'm out of here.